All right, I think we will go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone to tonight's meeting of the Job Creation and Retention Trust. Tonight we will have interpretation in English and Cantonese. Everybody on the call will be asked in a moment to join an interpretation channel, including English speakers. So we are going to go over the interpretation instructions now in English and then in Cantonese, and then we will get started with the presentation. So for interpretation on a computer, you will click the globe symbol in the bottom right corner of your Zoom screen, and then select the option for the language you speak. Again, for tonight's meeting, that's going to be English or Cantonese. If you are joining by a smartphone, you will click on the three dots in the bottom right corner of your screen, and you will select the option with the globe symbol. You will then select your language and press done in the top right corner. I will pass it over to Terry for the next two slides.
Thank you, William. Hi, everybody. My name is Terry. I'll be the Cantonese interpreter for this meeting tonight. 大家好，我係 Terry，我係你哋今日嘅廣東話翻譯。咁咧一陣咧，你喺屏幕下邊咧就睇到喺呢個地球喺呢個屏幕下邊有個地球嘅圖標，你撳落去咧之後咧再揀 Cantonese 即係廣東話，你就可以睇到呢個廣東話嘅頻道，亦都可以聽到我嘅聲音。咁如果咧can you go to next slide, please？如果你係用呢個手機或者係平板電腦上嚟嘅話咧，咁咧你就點下屏幕下邊嘅三個點，再揀更多，亦都可以入到呢個嘅翻譯嘅功能啊。咁你揀 Cantonese 即係廣東話，你都可以聽到我嘅聲音嘅。OK，唔該晒 ，Thank you，all set。
Thank you, Terry. So if everyone, I'm going to actually just make sure that our channels are ready to go. All right. And the instructions are in the chat as well, but please just go ahead as it pops up on your screen and select either English or Cantonese. We'll give everyone a moment to select the language. And Terry, I'm actually going to hop over to Cantonese. So can you just say something there so I can test the sound and then we can get started? Great. Thank you. All right. With that, I will turn the floor over to Colleen Moran, who is one of our co-managing trustees.
Thank you so much, William, and thank you all for being here. Welcome to the 2023 Somerville Job Creation and Retention Trust Annual Public Meeting held today on November 1st, 2023. My name is Colleen Moran, and I am one of the managing trustees of the Job Creation and Retention Trust, and I call this meeting to order at 6:10 p.m. Tonight's meeting is being conducted on Zoom, will be recorded, and will be a public record. We ask that you please mute your microphone when not speaking. I will now ask the board members to confirm they are in attendance in alphabetical order. Thomas Bent.
Thomas Bent, present.
Vicky Coitz.
Present.
Silvana Dinka.
Present.
Matt McLaughlin.
Here.
Colleen Moran, present. Rachel Ned Carney.
Present.
Annika Van Eaton.
Present.
And Rand Wilson.
Present.
We have a quorum. I will now give an overview of tonight's agenda. First, who is the Job Creation and Retention Trust Board? Next, what is job linkage funding? Next, investment prioritization process. Overview of the past year's investments. The 2024 obligations and ranked investment ideas. And for clarifying questions, while we are presenting, you can type into the chat if you need technical assistance or if you have clarifying questions. City staff Regina Carey and Chadi Salamoon will be assisting with this. And we'll finish with a prioritization discussion. The purpose of Somerville Job Creation and Retention Trust is to assist the creation and maintenance of employment and career opportunities within and near the city of Somerville for the residents of the city of Somerville. The board consists of 9 trustees, 3 ex officio, and 6 appointees. The 3 ex officio trustees are the mayor or their designee, the superintendent of Somerville Public Schools or their designee, and the president of the city council or their designee. The other 6 include 2 Somerville residents, 2 representatives of nonprofit organizations, and 2 Somerville business representatives. I will now call on each board member one by one to introduce themselves and what seat they represent. Colleen Moran, I am representing business and co-managing trustee. Tom Bent. Tom is representing business. Vicky Coitz.
Hi, I am representing one of the Somerville resident physicians.
And Silvana Dinka. Silvana is also a resident. Matt McLaughlin. That is City Council President's designee. Rachel Ned Carney.
Hey, Colleen, can I pause this for a second? I think we've
Yeah.
got maybe a tech thing. So
Oh.
if city staff could let the board members unmute and they could go back through and introduce themselves.
Ah, thank you. We'll take it from the top when we're ready.
There we go.
Okay. All right, take it again. Colleen Moran, business and co-managing trustee. Tom Bent.
Business representative.
Vicky Coitz.
Somerville resident.
Silvana Dinka.
Somerville resident.
Matt McLaughlin.
Ward 1 City Councilor and City Council designee.
Great. Rachel Ned Carney.
Good evening. I'm the Director of Economic Development and the mayoral designee.
Great. Rand Wilson.
Hi, everybody. I'm a union organizer and I am a nonprofit representative on the board.
And Annika Van Eaton.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I am the other nonprofit representative on the board, and I serve as a co-managing trustee.
And we currently have 1 vacancy on the board for the superintendent's designee. I will now pass the mic over to William Blackmer, staff liaison to the JCRT, to discuss jobs linkage funding.
Thank you, Colleen. My name is William Blackmer, and I am the Workforce Development Coordinator for the City of Somerville. I also serve as staff liaison to the Somerville Job Creation and Retention Trust, and I'm going to speak a little bit about jobs linkage funding. So jobs linkage funding was approved by the City Council via a zoning amendment in December of 2017. The jobs linkage fee is a fee that is applied to commercial developments over 15,000 square feet with the purpose of providing and enhancing employment opportunities for Somerville residents. The fee was initially set at $2.46 per square foot above 15,000 square feet and is adjusted annually based on the consumer price index. The current rate of the jobs linkage fee is $2.93 per square foot. The Jobs Creation and Retention Trust Board is entrusted with managing these funds. The JCRT Declaration of Trust outlines how the funds can be used. So we will go through this list of potential uses. So for the development and creation of job training and skill development opportunities for Somerville residents, for outreach to identify populations facing barriers to employment, for tools and software to identify and assess residents' skills and match residents with available local jobs, for equipment and other capital costs related to nonprofit and public job training and education programs, for seed money for new programs or organizations, for high school and career technical education programs, to help employers improve high road business practices with innovative models such as worker-owned cooperatives, for the professional development and training for nonprofit and education providers, for capacity building, for research to determine other appropriate uses of the trust, and for other programs and projects that assist in the creation and maintenance of employment opportunities for Somerville residents in and near Somerville. To date, the JCRT fund has generated over $5.4 million. Since the fund generation is tied to new commercial development in Somerville, you can see that in 2022 and 2023, funds generated far exceeded those in 2020 and 2021. I am now going to pass it over to Vicki Coitz, who is one of our board members, and she will discuss the investment prioritization process.
Great. Thanks so much, William. Good evening, everyone. Since the last annual board meeting on October 25th, 2022, the board has made investments based on public input shared at that meeting last fall. We will give you more detail on these investments momentarily. Now, the board's investments take into consideration research of local workforce development trends, labor market information, conversations with residents and employers, and review of the talent equity playbook strategies. This fall, the JCRT board tentatively ranked its 2024 priorities. At tonight's public meeting, we will present this list to you and invite you to give input on our tentative list. At our next monthly meeting, the board will reassess its priority list based on the public feedback that has been received tonight and vote on a final priority list. Then the JCRT will issue requests for proposals, or RFPs, in accordance with the ranked priorities. That will be later this year and next year. The final step is for the trust to select successful proposals to fund. So now I'd like to give you just a brief overview of the Talent Equity Playbook and the strategies that guide the City of Somerville's investments in workforce development, as well as the Jobs Creation and Retention Trust. This set of strategies was adopted in 2018, and the first one is to build a coordinated system of education and training services that ensures Somerville youth and adults achieve their career goals. Strategy 2 is to position Somerville as a national leader in employee engagement practices. Strategy 3 is to build a full suite of experiential learning opportunities for Somerville youth and adults. And strategy 4 is to develop resiliency responses to what some folks refer to as the future of work. So these strategies guide our investments, and we try to ensure that we have a well-balanced portfolio. So the next slide provides a zoomed out summary of the outcomes from JCRT programs to date. And as you can see from this graphic, over 915 people have been served between adult education programming, worker rights training, and industry-specific job training programs that we have invested in. Additionally, the JCRT has distributed more than $270,000 in student and resident support. This was done through COVID-19 emergency grants to nonprofits, as well as an innovative practice of providing student support stipends. These stipends provide funds for basic needs to participants in order to support their ability to persist through skill building opportunities and not have to balance a lot of work with their training and education. This innovative approach to provide financial assistance that extends beyond the cost of attendance to cover other needs, including transportation and basic living expenses, has since been adopted by partners and other city institutions as a workforce development best practice. We'll now give you an overview of what the JCRT has funded. In the first category, which is adult education, the investments provide residents with the fundamental skills needed to advance their careers and addresses 3 of the Talent Equity Playbook strategies. Strategies 1, 3, and 4. Adult education investments have included contextualized English classes for speakers of other languages. This means English classes that include a vocabulary in the context of specific industries. It also includes adult basic education or high school equivalency courses to prepare residents to earn a high school diploma or equivalent. It includes digital literacy training resources, as well as what I mentioned earlier, the stipend for participants. And you can see the great outcomes in the blue box to the right. So now I'm going to turn it over to Rand Wilson, who will talk about additional investments made by the board.
Hey, good evening. Let me see if I can get my points that I want to emphasize here. Seem to have going to have to give me 1 minute because I closed all my windows so that they wouldn't interfere with the Zoom. Now I'm left bereft. But the first thing is, and I can see it on the screen here, that the JCRT has been funding wage theft and workers' rights training, and that we've done work for 255 Somerville workers in the Know Your Rights workshops, and 29 leadership institution graduates, 51 workplace issues cases. And this workers' rights training is very near and dear to me because I work in that field of workers' rights and union rights, labor rights. So I'm pretty pleased with the support that we've had, and I hope we can continue to do that. Why don't we just go to the next? Oh, wait, there it is. And then the next slide is our third major category of investments, which has been the industry-specific job training programs. And do we have that up there now? Not yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. So with the industry-specific programs, these investments support our strategy of providing a coordinated system of job training opportunities with hands-on experiential learning. They equip residents with the skills they need to succeed in high-demand occupations and industries in our area. And so, as you can see on the screen, so far the Trust has invested in training programs for residents in banking and finance, building maintenance and clean energy, biotechnology, information technology, and the emerging cannabis industry. Participants in, as was mentioned before, participants in these trainings have been supported with student stipends to help cover basic needs like childcare and reducing education costs and addressing other potential problems associated with pursuing the job training opportunity. And with that, I'll flip it back to Vicki. Vicki?
All right, just needed to hit the unmute button. So in addition to those investments in the specific categories of the Talent Equity Playbook, the board has made additional investments that cut across the strategies. And those three include investing in the workforce development, coordination, and data collection staff position. As you can imagine, putting out all these requests for proposals and helping to manage the board requires a good amount of staff time. And so we do invest in the coordination and data collection of that work. We also invested in a professional development fund for workforce development practitioners. And this is an opportunity to provide adult education and job training practitioners in the city of Somerville with a small amount of funding to be able to continue their professional development, to be able to stay up on the latest and greatest practices in adult education and job training in the fields. And then the third investment that we made was in a job training scholarship fund that is administered by the Somerville Community Corporation. And this is a fund for any job training that resident of the city of Somerville would like to participate in, but isn't funded by one of our grants. And so it's providing another opportunity for City of Somerville residents to be able to expand their skills and invest in their own careers. And I'm going to turn it over to Annika Van Eaton.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Vicki. First, I'm going to cover some of our priorities that are already funded for 2024. So these are funds that we have obligated, meaning we've voted to commit these funds to specific priorities, and the funding will be distributed in 2024. So we're already funding industry-specific job trainings. Oh, wait, no, I think we need a next slide here. Could you please read that?
You're in the right spot.
Oh, okay. Sorry, everybody. We've already funded industry-specific job training programs focused on information technology, clean energy, cannabis careers that include quarry expungement services, coordination and data collection staff position, the job training scholarship fund, and the Workforce Development Fund for adult education and workforce development practitioners. Thank you. And so these are the obligated but not yet awarded funds that I was just referencing. So we've also obligated funds, meaning we have voted to commit these funds to specific priorities, and that funding hasn't been distributed yet. So 2 additional industry-specific training programs to support childcare advancement to support career advancement in the childcare industry, for a good municipal jobs training program to prepare residents for entry-level roles with the city of Somerville or other similar employers, for job quality human resources training for Somerville small businesses and entrepreneurs, continued funding of the coordination and data collection staff position through fiscal year 2028, and to provide mental health training for staff of social service providers. So now I'm going to talk about our tentative investment rankings. So this is a list of priorities voted on by the JCRT board members that we are requesting community feedback on. And we're really looking forward to hearing your feedback after I go through these here. So these are ideas that we're thinking about, and we've ranked for a tentative priority for us to explore or to pursue funding in the year to come. The top ranked idea are English classes focused on specific professions. For example, English with medical terminology, a contextualized English class. The second ranked idea is to explore a program for adults who are learning English to learn about various career paths through a partnership between Somerville High School's Career and Technical Education Center and English class providers. There were 2 ideas that tied for third when the board tentatively ranked these priorities. The first is to create a workers' rights curriculum for a train the trainer training. The second is to fund year 13 program of career advising classes and experiential learning for recent Somerville High School graduates who have not enrolled in college. Fifth, industry-specific training, including a call for job trainings for occupations in support of Somerville's climate forward goals to become climate neutral. Next slide, please. Sixth is the idea of a benefits specialist case manager to support Somerville residents to enroll in benefits programs with a focus on workers experiencing job loss. Seventh is digital literacy programming. Eighth, mental health resilience and trauma response training for staff of adult education and workforce development organizations. Ninth, the job quality and human resources training for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And 10, financial literacy programming. So before we discuss and welcome everyone's input on these tentative investment rankings, I first want to pause and ask if anyone has any clarifying questions about the information that has been presented so far. You can drop a question in the chat or raise your hand by clicking below at the bottom of the screen. I'm looking, I don't see any immediate clarifying questions. Of course, there's other opportunities to ask questions as we open it up here. And so I want to say momentarily, we are going to move into the public prioritization discussion part of the agenda. And I really want to emphasize that your voice matters. Thank you so much for coming to this meeting tonight. We are eager to hear your feedback because conversations like the ones we have tonight. William, do you have a question that you want me to jump into right now?
Yeah, I have just a direct question in the chat from David Gibbs. he said, could you clarify how much money remains uncommitted for 2024? So I'm happy to take the question. We currently have a little over $1 million that has not been committed. The ordinance that explains how the trust is supposed to spend funds gives the trust up to 5 years to spend job linkage funds that are received by the trust. So, of course, we are eager to make those investments soon, as Vicky was sharing. But because this is a unique funding source, there are not specific amounts that need to be spent within a given fiscal year or calendar year. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, William, for bringing in that question. So yes, I want to point out a few examples in the past from previous public meetings where ideas have surfaced that turned into funded programs. The idea of a job training scholarship fund, the Somerville Good Municipal Jobs Training Program, increased funding for training participant stipends were all ideas that folks brought to previous public forums, and we have funded those. So I want to emphasize that your feedback really matters. And I think we'll turn it over to public comment in just 1 second, because William, I'm suspecting you're raising your hand for another clarifying question.
Yes, I received a question from Heather in the chat about the year 13 classes. So I'm just going to go back to the language on the slide. So tying for the third priority on the list is the year 13 program, which includes career advising classes and experiential learning for recent Somerville High School graduates who have not yet enrolled in college. So that could include classes in the form of workshops for groups about financial aid. This is a priority that we have been addressing a little bit this year with ARPA funding. So there's the potential for it to cover training opportunities or advising individuals on entering training opportunities. And I don't know if any of the board members want to add anything on that idea.
Could also include internships or apprenticeships that students might be able to gain access to. That's the experiential learning part of it. And it's really a way of providing a program for high school graduates who may not be quite ready for college and need just a little bit more preparation in order to be ready for college or to be able to move into a job training program for their career.
Thanks. Rachel, you raise your hand.
Yeah, so just to add to the clarifications on this program, Regina, Carey, and Chadi Salomon, who are helping staff with me tonight, they are our post-secondary success coaches that have been funded specifically on this year 13 transition through the ARPA program. So we've been lucky enough to have the two of them join city staff and be working with a cohort of 36 students this year, and 15 will join who are going to graduate next year. So we are doing 2 rounds of this cohort through the ARPA program to support those students with individualized support as they transition to college or to other training opportunities.
Thanks, Rachel, for that additional information. Rand, did you have a comment on this that you wanted to bring up? I saw you raised your hand.
Well, I lowered it, but just
Okay.
want to make it very, very clear that we are trying to get residents into the good jobs that are out there. And, sometimes that gets lost in all of the workforce development lingo. But this is all intended to get people upgraded who live here in the city and get them into a better job.
Thank you, Rand. I want to add that I got a direct message asking a clarifying question of, are the contextualized English classes that are ranked #1 for beginners, or are they more geared towards advanced English learners? And we've previously funded programs that were geared more towards beginner levels. And if anyone wants to add any more context on that, I welcome it.
Yeah, what we've found nationally with contextualized English language programs is that folks who are at very low levels of English, like around levels 1 and 2, often benefit from career exploration to learn about industries. And then once they have gained some English language skills at like middle school and high school level, then they're usually prepared to consider specific industries, and that's where the specific contextualized vocabulary for the industries that they've already researched and know they want to go into are useful in their English classes.
Thank you, Vicki. I'm going to move us now to public comment. So of course, as things go on, if people have questions as well, please share those. So a couple different ways to participate. You can raise your hand by, again, clicking at the raise hand reaction in the bottom menu bar, if you would like to share your thoughts verbally. If you prefer, you can instead comment your thought in the chat, and we will read it out loud to capture for public record. And we will also be sharing city staff email address at the end of this if you would like to send follow-up written comments. The board will be meeting again in December, and we'll be reflecting on what we hear from this meeting and any written comments shared, and revisiting our prioritization process to be responsive for what we're hearing for the community. To orient us, we are really interested in which of the 10 proposed funding priorities you think most aligns with the needs of the Somerville community. And also if there are any investment ideas that you do not see on this list that you would like for the JCRT to consider. And so with that, I look forward to listening to you all, and I will first call on Diane. I see you've raised your hand. I invite you to speak. Oh, Diane, you are muted, actually.
Okay.
There we go.
I was muted.
Thank you.
So hello, everybody. And I was a little bit late, so I don't know if what I'm going to say has already been addressed. And if it has, then I'll just, put a little check mark next to that. In the good jobs category, whatever kind of good jobs we're talking about, I don't see any discussion so far about AI. And so I'm going to recommend that we seriously look at, I've talked to people, and what we agree is that it's not so much that AI is going to take all the jobs, but that people with AI are going to take all the jobs. So whatever kind of job we're doing, as we're forward looking and future looking, we need to bring AI and an awareness of it and training about it to Somerville. So if we don't have that, let's get on board with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that comment, Diane. I appreciate you joining today and raising that for our consideration. Emma, I'm going to call on you next.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Emma Stellman. I am a Somerville resident of a couple of decades plus, and I also work at Lesley University doing some workforce development projects, and we are a recipient of a current ARPA funding for which we are very grateful, and So thank you
That's
again.
not a complete thought. When I was walking.
The ideas that one idea is, in addition to the English classes focused on specific professions, one idea to put in there is that there is another spin on that that we're actually piloting now, which is offering similar classes like that are languages for the professions. So people who work with Spanish speaking or Portuguese speaking or Haitian Creole, who work with specific language groups, you can have courses that train those people with specific vocabulary, if they're practitioners, whether they're educators, social workers, mental health counselors. So I wanted to add that. I really think the year 13 plus is a fantastic idea. So I just want to give a big thumbs up to that. And then in addition, well, it says year 13, but my notes say year 13 plus, because one thing that we're recognizing in our work with this city in the ARPA grant is that we have a very large number of non-traditional age college students, people who either have little bits of college credits or have never gotten a chance, who are Somerville residents. And many of those people actually have bachelor's, and they have a high school diploma from another country and didn't realize that they can come right into our system, and or that the door isn't really open, that they need to pull. So I wanted to call it year 13 plus. Sorry, I don't want to take in much more time. I just wanted to also put in a plug for continuation of investing in tuition relief funds for Somerville residents, particularly those who are training in careers and if they are underrepresented populations who will be practitioners, whether you're going into education, social work, mental health, behavioral health. So I just wanted to put a plug in for continuation of investing of tuition relief for residents.
Thank you so much for those comments and thoughts. We appreciate you sharing them with us. Gonzalo, you're next. We invite you to share.
Yes, hi. Yeah, for me, I think it's important, and I don't know if it's been discussed before, but we always talk about good jobs and good employers, but do we have guidelines, or do we have metrics, or do we really understand what that is? Is it based on salary? Are we looking for employers that, promote diversity, equity, inclusion? Is there a way maybe for the Jobs Creation Retention Fund, to create a system where, we identify employers in the area that are good employers based on some metrics that, we create? And, how do we also promote, those employers out in our communities, that maybe it's the city of Somerville, maybe through a badge or maybe, if they can, especially if they're like local small businesses, can they put a sticker outside saying they're a good employer? Something of that matter where we can promote the good employers in the area, and maybe to some degree, those that don't meet those qualifications, how can the Jobs Creation Retention Fund or some of the people here, help support these employers who do want to push that to the next level and provide them with, it could be technical support, HR support, whatever that may be, so that, the employers that are engaged in our communities are providing good benefits, good salaries, good working environment, promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really meets the needs of the demographics of the residents that live in the city of Somerville. I know it's a broad statement, but I'm trying to see how we can consider, putting a project together to make that happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those observations and that idea, and for joining us here tonight. Thank you. Marcy, I invite you to share.
Thank you so much. Marcy, I'm a resident and have worked in the field of worker rights and workforce development for a very long time. And I just wanted to commend the trust fund's recognition that one key way to ensure the retention of workers in their employment is to make sure that they can obtain their hard-earned wages and return home alive and without injury. As you most of you are aware, that workers experience labor violations, they're at risk of being fired for taking action. If they're not paid their wages, they can spiral into poverty. And when they're injured, they can lose their ability to work forever. And of course, the skills that workers gain from worker rights leadership training are really essential in moving out of harmful jobs. So we really appreciate the funding that the Welcome Project Worker Center received in the early 20s. They provide a safe space where workers who are at the greatest risk of abuse, immigrant workers, those with limited or lacking English ability, to learn about and take action to sustain good quality jobs. My additional comment, though, is that I do want to urge against funding the creation of a worker rights curricula. There are worker rights, very well developed, interactive curricula. They already exist. I reviewed the one that was promoted back in 2020, which was developed by one of our volunteers at our organization. So they already exist. And so instead of investing in that, what's really needed is to support the Welcome Project to deliver worker leadership training, to give them the flexibility to engage workers, to develop their leadership skills, to in turn train and do outreach to others. So I just want to encourage that. A very small side note about the cannabis worker safety training, which is not my main point, but you may be aware that there's been a recent death, at least one of a worker in Massachusetts from inhaling cannabis dust. So ensuring that anyone that's doing cannabis workforce development incorporates safety and health training and worker rights into that as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your comments, Marcy, for joining us tonight to share those. Thank you. Jocelyn, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jocelyn Marte. I'm the new Director of Continuing Education at Scale, which is part of the Somerville Public Schools. And we're very blessed to have been the recipient of a JCRT grant that are currently serving adult learners here, helping them obtain their high school equivalency diploma. And recently, we also added some college readiness classes and business and accounting class, careers in IT, exploration class, and also a patient experience, which is a class to kind of help adult learners learn about different careers in the health field. So I'm very grateful to see that, rank 1 and 2 of your 2024 tentative investment ranking is around English classes focusing on a specific professions. And I wanted to present an idea of a program that I was able to help create and establish in my previous place where I worked, Lawrence Public Schools, where it really addresses many of the important things that, including Somerville Public Schools School Committee, that has a goal of diversifying the Somerville Public School workforce to reflect the students and families of the Somerville Public School and increase the percentage of support staff of color. So I was going to propose having a para-educator training program, which is something that I know for a fact has been very helpful. The majority of the students that are recruited for the program are actually English language learners who are interested in getting a job in the education field. And what they do, the paraeducator is another name for teacher's assistant. And it was a program that I created. It's 9 months long, prepares the students to be able to pass the Parapro test, which is the certification, one way that they can enter, the field of education. And again, at the end of the 9-month period, they able to obtain a job in Somerville Public Schools, or which is the goal here. I know that we have a lot of needs in Somerville Public Schools for paraeducators, especially in the special education department and the ELL support department. So this will be meeting several needs, obviously helping our adult learners who are from Somerville help them get trained to enter a profession that will be able to pay them a family sustaining wage, but also will address and help the Somerville Public Schools with their needs to fill those positions where, you know, they're entering a field and helping work with the students and providing the support and the role modeling, because many of them come from, you know, diverse backgrounds. So I wanted to suggest that training as one of the ones that maybe could be offered, because I think from my experience in the past, we had 6 cohort and we had about close to 100 of our students completing the program and actually working in the field. And many of them moved on to becoming teachers because they had teaching backgrounds from the country of origin, but they didn't have a way to practice their careers here in the United States. So it has been a very successful program, and I would love to be able to replicate it here at scale. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment, for sharing your idea, and congratulations on your new role. Next, I'll turn to Rod. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rodrigo Badaro. I'm a 20-year resident of Somerville. Both my wife and daughter graduated from Somerville High. I'm originally from Brazil, and one of the things that I think that the funds should be invested is to generate it, and I like to say not jobs, I like to say careers that can put our residents, our members, into good paying jobs with access to training, healthcare, and retirement. And one of the ways that we could do this is creating pre-apprenticeship programs, or maybe even getting access to job fairs, career fairs, where the candidates, the potential members that will join those careers, like I said, they can better their lives, and also consequently, you know, changing our communities as well. So I think that is a great opportunity. Like, it has changed my life, and it can change the lives of our communities too. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for sharing your perspective and experiences and recommendation, and for joining us tonight. Francisca, I'll turn to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Francisca Sepulveda. I used to be part of the staff of the Welcome Project, so I can speak firsthand of the importance of and how meaningful it was for us, for the Jobs Trust, to provide some funding for the Somerville Worker Center. I really want to add into what Marcy mentioned, that there is a lot of curriculum already created. There is a lot of material that it can be used, but what is important now is especially the ability to provide that training, of course, and the support needed for workers. A lot of the times, workers after a training realize about issues in their working conditions, and they come to the Worker Center, and the Worker Center is the first place where they receive help. What are those issues? You guys talked about it before: wage theft, workplace accidents, unsafe situations that can cause accidents, death, or have even caused the accidents already. So the Worker Center is the first place that they come for help. So I really want to urge you to not just include training, but also the support needed for casework, because there is a lot of workers that are not comfortable to speak. They are afraid to lose their jobs. They are afraid to be deported because of their immigration status. So that is a very important work that the Worker Center does, which also goes with organizing in the community. So I just wanted to make sure to share that part. So thank you so much, and have everyone.
Thanks, Francisca, for your previous work supporting Somerville workers, and for your comments tonight. Thank you. David.
Hi, everyone. David Gibbs, Executive Director at Community Action Agency of Somerville. And I just want to say I'm very pleased with the ranking of numbers 1 and 2. I think, obviously, you know, being able to converse enough to do a job is of great importance. However, I want to caution against too narrow a focus on technical language related to a specific job or profession. What we see a lot is people who miss the nuances of what is being said at work are easily exploited, are misunderstand basic communications that their employers are trying to convey. This leads to all kinds of problems, a lot of unintended consequences. If you only teach someone the language they need to wash the test tubes, they're not going to understand the many other things that are part of being a worker in an employment situation. So I would just urge us to not forget basic conversational English. I think people aren't going to always stay in the one profession we train them for either, and the need to have a good basic grasp of this will carry forward for many years. The other thing I wanted to comment on is number 6, benefits specialist case manager. I was curious whether the thought there was to do that as a city job. This is something that CAS already does. Of course, we'd love to do more of it. But I was just curious about what your thinking is there. Because, and again, I really am glad to see this on the list, because I think everyone understands that it's frequently the other issues that a person faces in their life that are not specifically tied to their job training that get in the way of completing job training. The muffler blows and they have no money to fix it. The parent that they're caring for at home suddenly needs home health care and they can't afford that. Things like that. So I'm very curious to hear more about the thinking on that one. Thanks very much.
Thank you for joining this evening and for your comments that you shared related to English classes and English learning. And then for your question on the benefits specialist case manager. So where we are so far is coming up with this list of ideas. And then if we taking the feedback from the public forum, in our next meeting, we'll finalize our order of the list of ideas. And then what we've traditionally done is the board has split into subcommittees for parsing out exactly what the specifics would look like for each of them. So to that, I mean, I'll just share that in previous meetings when we've been talking about this idea, I think we had talked about doing an RFP that would go out and fund that type of position, or that folks could apply for to get that type of position funded, but we don't have anything more specific about what that looks like, kind of other than our idea that I've just shared. Yeah, absolutely. William, I know you've gotten some messages, comments that you're going to share out. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to share some direct messages to me so they can be captured for the record of this meeting. So Heather raised the point of the distinction between biotechnology training programs, which can differ from biomedical career programs, given the influx of biotech companies in Somerville. So that is speaking toward the industry-specific training category. I also have a comment from Joanna, who had to leave the meeting early, I believe, but her comment is, my name is Joanna with the Somerville English Language Learner Program. Thank you for having me. I joined to advocate for our Somerville students and how the grants have helped them. So she's speaking in reference to the Somerville English Language Learner Program that has been funded in the past. I also have a comment from Emma that says, I strongly support Jocelyn Marte's suggestion to create a pipeline into SPS for paraeducators. with a focus on diversifying the education workforce. Following from developing paraeducators is a second pipeline into licensure and higher education programs to eventually grow a critically needed cohort of licensed supervisors, licensed independent clinical social workers, licensed mental health counselors, etc., that better represent Somerville's rich diversity, as well as licensed special educators and licensed English language and bilingual educators. And then I also just received a comment from Ed Halloran from the Somerville Municipal Employees Association. So I wanted to invite Ed, if you're still on the call and would like to share a comment, you may unmute and do so. Thank you.
Looks like Ed may have left.
Well, we'll be sharing the email address and inviting folks to send in written comments. So we can hopefully capture Ed's comment through that. Kristen, welcome.
Hi. My name is Kristen McKenna. I'm the Dean of Workforce and Economic Development at Bunker Hill Community College. And I'm representing the Somerville English Language Learning Program, the one that Joanna had referenced. We are partners with the Welcome Project and with CAS. And we've been delivering English language learner classes over the last 3 years through the JCRT funding. And every year we have over enrolled by a minimum of 26%. So once the word got out about the opportunity for Somerville students to take classes at the Welcome Project or Bunker Hill Community College, it never stopped. And we continuously get students who are still looking for classes and opportunities. And so one of the things is we're serving an extremely diverse population. And many students start out at beginner level and advance to intermediate or advanced levels so that they can go on to do our customer service training, which is contextualized to the small businesses. And we also partner with the East Somerville Main Street Business Consortium. And that career readiness and customer service training is essential for them to be able to get promoted in the existing jobs that they have in the small businesses along Main Street, but it's also really crucial for them to develop those skills in order to work in almost any industry. I see a lot of statistics and data related to workforce, and the number one thing that employers are looking for are customer service skills and communication and interpersonal skills. And these are a lot of the skills that we teach at Bunker Hill Community College in various classes. And so we integrate them in with the English language learner program. It takes a long time for an English language learner to get through. And I know many of the educators who are in this meeting, they know exactly what I'm talking about. If you started at 0 level English, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get to the point where contextualized English is going to really be beneficial for you. But, we work with those students and we get them through. And just past funding year, we had 35 students who advanced on to other training opportunities, to jobs, and as well as advanced learning. In 8 students chose to go on to pursue a college degree. So it might have taken them a little bit of time to get through all the existing courses to develop enough English language acquisition to be successful in those courses. So I come to you to urge you to consider funding or refunding those training programs that start with basic English language learning and can help students advance and meet many of the skills that are required for all of the industries around the city. I also want to mention the fact that we need students to go through English language learning classes because we don't have another workforce to work with. We're only utilizing 62% of the available workforce, And 38% of those individuals that are not working are part of this English language learner group that need to get those basic skills so that they can go on and get good jobs. And or go to college, because we have Mass Reconnect now at Bunker Hill Community College, and Mass Reconnect would be free tuition for someone who was able to get through their English language learner classes. So that's a great opportunity, but you can't get there without starting here. And so there are almost 40 students now that are enrolled and want to be continuously enrolled in our Somerville English Language Learner Project. And they, they're looking forward to going on into the spring semester to learn more English, but they won't be able to do that if there isn't a program to fund that. So I ask you to consider everything that I've said and many of the things that other people have said in support of continuing English language learner classes.
Thank you so much for joining tonight and for your and your colleagues' work over these last 3 years supporting our Somerville residents. We really appreciate you sharing your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. T. Dever.
Hey guys, I'm with AACA. We've had a connection with JCRT running a maintenance efficiency program. What I'm more excited about, however, is number 5. We've also been running a weatherization program, which is kind of like a boot camp. It's a 2-week program where students get job skills to go out and the job skills and all the hands-on stuff they need to learn how to do insulation, learn how to do air sailing, and with that, there's a great career there for those that stick it out as far as making some overtime and climbing the ladder and becoming a crew chief. And there's been a lot of articles written lately about solar installation, how it's helping immigrants, and putting in heat pumps. So you're right on the ball there with number 5, and hopefully we can continue to partnership with you in that.
Thank you so much for joining tonight and for sharing your comments. We appreciate your time and your work. Lindsay Allen.
Hey everyone. Thank you for having this meeting. I'm Lindsay Allen with East Somerville Main Streets. Just to speak a little bit more to Kristen's comment earlier, I'm also with the Bunker Hill and Cass and Welcome Project group, and I talk to the business owners a lot. I can hear kind of the importance of this program for them and for the workers. I just wanted to include a quick quote from one of our businesses on Broadway to kind of show everybody the importance of the program. This is from Gus. He is the owner of Ola Cafe. I think the program is extremely useful. Chrissia has improved a lot around the cafe. She's always striving for new words. I'm all for the program. I think it's fantastic for the community and very essential for any non-English speakers. It's fundamental to gaining opportunity within the city. So it's really been wonderful. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew from the businesses that definitely very impactful.
Thank you for joining tonight and for sharing and relaying your comments. Are there other priorities that people would like to lift up, either via raising your hand or, again, we welcome folks' comments in the chat. Other comments from speakers or from people who've joined tonight who'd like to speak? Okay, while folks are, if there are any other ideas, oh, hello, yes, I see you just raised your hand. R. Carmona.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Sorry I came in a little bit late. Yeah, Superintendent Carmona. I'm
Welcome,
new to
Superintendent.
the district. Thank you. And I got an invitation from some of you I met several weeks ago, and also from William Blackmer. I am just thrilled to be part of this process. Many familiar faces here. I just feel that consensus of the community to provide our students, our children, our community access is quite something that I haven't seen before, and I feel that any of these things in this list are powerful. A great continuation of access for our kids. So I just wanted to applaud the efforts and applaud the consensus and the process that is happening. And I just wanted to also offer that I am a partner and I'm an invested and I'm a committed partner in this process. So I am hoping that we can continue to strengthen our ties. And I know that the high school is also a place where some of these extensions can take place. So please know that the sky is the limit when it comes to trying to create ways to build some synergy between the city and the district. So I just wanted to thank you for having me here tonight, as well as being part of such an amazing team. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Superintendent, for joining us tonight. And we look forward to partnering with you. Thank you and welcome. Robin.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Robin Nato with Perscolis, and I just want to say I had to join late, but very, very happy to be here. And some of you know, but not all of you on the JCRT, that I've taken a new role at Perscolis, but I'm still with Perscolis, but my successor, H.K. Howard, is now leading our operations in the greater Boston and Somerville area. And I just want to say I'm thrilled that by extension, being still with Perscolis, there's an interest for me to still attend these meetings as a big supporter of whatever we can do in Perscolis for Somerville residents. So I'm really happy to be joining tonight, even though my official role now serves our southern part of the country, but I still reside here, and I am an active supporter of everything that's happening in our greater Boston operations that still includes Somerville. And I just want to say very quickly, I love looking at this list. Similar to Superintendent Carmona, everything on here is valuable. I'm really happy to see, especially the tie for number 3, and see the focus on career advising and classes and experiential learning for the recent graduates of SHS. We do take SHS grads who are looking for alternatives to college in our training. And also similarly, very happy to see on the second slide, the digital literacy programming in the ranking, because some people, we do need folks with a basic level of literacy for our entry-level IT training. And I do feel that if we're getting folks that do have that, there are more people that we can even be accepting. So it broadens our opportunity to serve even more Somerville residents. So this is really exciting to see this list of 10, though, and really happy to be here with all of you tonight.
Thank you, Robin, for your previous work with Perscolis, for our residents, and for joining tonight. While I wait to see if there's other comments, William or somebody, could you shift to the slide with the email address too? Or William, do you have some other Zoom chat comments to share?
Yes, but we can also move to the last slide as well. But Dean McKenna from Bunker Hill just wanted to share that of the 203 students that were served in the Somerville English Language Learning Program in 2022, all were considered low income And this is a testament to that partnership being a community-based program that's serving the residents with the most need. So I just wanted to add that on her behalf. And yeah, I'll pass it
Thank
back
you.
to you, Annika.
Awesome. Thanks, William, for relaying that comment. So we welcome additional public comments from anyone who was here tonight or anyone else in the community who wasn't able to join tonight. And we ask that folks share any additional public comments to the email address on the screen, wfd@somervillema.gov. And we would ask that if you could send them by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, November 8th, so they can be included in our summary from this evening's meeting. And we'll have time to review them before our next meeting. William also dropped that email in the chat, so you can copy it there and send us any of your comments.
And I just, sorry,
go ahead,
I just
William.
quickly wanted to add that comments can be in any language. We will consult with our Office of Immigrant Affairs. So if someone wants to make a comment, yeah, any language will be accepted at that email address. So share this with those who are not in the room tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, William, for highlighting that we have translation services available so that we'll review those comments. So I'm not seeing any other hands being raised, and I want to, on behalf of the board, share our thanks and appreciation for your time and your insights and your thoughtful remarks tonight. We really, really appreciate it and look forward to discussing with my fellow board members in December what we all heard tonight. I've just been absorbing and taking in everyone's comments, and like I said, all of the board members have been, and we look forward to reflecting and discussing what you've all shared. So I want to encourage you to share the email address with other folks who weren't able to join, send any other written comments in, and I thank you all again for your participation in this event this evening in our public forum. Thank you so much. And William, I think we have to do a adjournment, right?
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yes.
Good
Okay.
protocol.
Thank you. We're very thorough here at the Jobs Trust board. Thank you everyone tonight. Do I hear from a board member a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right.
I'll second.
A motion to adjourn with a second from Tom and Vicky. And so I can read the roll call since I am chairing right now as I get to the list of our board members. Okie dokie. Motion to adjourn. Colleen?
Yes.
There we go. Vicky?
Yes.
Silvana?
Yes.
Matt? Rachel Midcarney?
Yes.
Annika? Yes. And Rand?
Yes.
Okay, and with that, I will.
You forgot me. It's time. Yes.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, Tom. You were
Okay.
Tom. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. My apologies. All right, everybody. With that, our meeting is adjourned tonight at 7:23. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a good rest of your evenings. Take care.
Thank you.